right, it's Monday, Martin Luther King Day. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. Been freezing my butt off here in Florida. We've been quite a bit colder than normal. We normally are, so all 4 cars are dirty. So what I figured I'd do is do a good old-fashioned Matty wash and chat. It's about, so for, all you guys up north, let's throw a little Adams rubber and tire on here just to kind of prepare it, because these haven't been cleaned in probably a month and a half. Anyway, I've been, 2 weeks ago, I was sick as a dog, and now I'm, now, when I say sick as a dog, I mean I had a slight cold. But anyway, I don't deal well with that. Easy detail brush. But anyway, I haven't done one of these in a while where I just kind of chat what's going on with my life, what's going on with Obsessed Garage, the business side of it, Obsessed Wealth, all that stuff. So I figured I'd come out here and wash the Gen 1 Raptor, do another hour long talking you through what's going on. Anyway, it's about 55 degrees out today, which for all you guys up north, you would kill for 55 degrees. Well, I'm out here freezing my butt off. Still testing these new brushes. I need to get on. I promise I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to order new. All these bolts are all rusting. They're all zinc plated, and then from us polishing. Where's the valve? From us polishing up the wheels, I'm sure we removed some of the zinc that was keeping these wheels nice. So I'm gonna have to replace them with some stainless bolts. It's also time for new tires on this thing as well. So I'm gonna do BF Goodrich KO2s on this at 325, 6518, and we'll see how they do. But these Terra grapplers they're nice. They're Nitto Terra grapplers. They last what? 45,000 miles, something like that. I probably shouldn't wipe this like this, but because I'm sure I'm scratching the inner side of the fender, but you can't see that anyway, so it should be okay. Alright, so let's hit the wheels real quick. So we're moving solidly into 2018. Today's January 15th. I haven't analyzed. I need to get into. That's part of my agenda this week, is to dig into the books, dig into where I'm at numbers wise. I have to book my appointment with the CPA to do my income tax return. One thing that I never predicted, and I probably should have done this mid-year, but I hadn't done any payroll. Everything's been 1099. And so I hadn't been paying myself a salary, which is going to be somewhat problematic from a tax perspective. The Obsessed Garage is set up as an S Corp. so we'll have to go back and clean that up a little bit. So this year, I got to get payroll set up and things like that. I've never owned a business before, so this is my first go at it. I've done a lot of stuff right with setting up trademarks and copyrights on my logos. I've got new logos, and I guess I got to go through that process again. But anyway, it was an insane year. The sun here is going to be pretty funky for the camera, but anyway, you guys have seen me do this 100 times anyway. I'm not really sure what Obsessed Garage is going to do this year, but my guess is it's going to be substantially more. I've got some really great stuff that's coming here. So I've got to do this past week, and I haven't done a lot of videos. I haven't washed cars. It's been cold, and I hadn't done a lot of video stuff because I've been really focused on. I really want to get the packaging system done. The detailing, have all the different detailing products in my store up and move, and available. Have the basic stuff that I use to wash the car. So the next package is polishing. One of the real difficulties in getting this set up is, one is energy. Just wanting to do it. It's a lot of work. But fighting the good fight in that I don't want to carry stuff that I don't use. And so I have to fight to be allowed to carry like 1 or 2 items from a company. And it's, as you might imagine, most manufacturers, they don't, they want you to use all of their stuff. They want you to buy a certain minimums and things like that. And so I have to, I don't want to say fight, but I have to, it's a lot harder to work it out where, like the polishing package has stuff from 10 or 12 different manufacturers. And so that means I've got to chase down all these companies, set up dealer agreements, but you got to figure out minimum quantities, and then how am I going to pack it, and how is it going to be shipped, and all this stuff. It's really, it's a pretty insane process to go through for each individual product. So polishing will be next. Polishers, I'm going to be doing some really amazing stuff with Rupes. I'm going to be flying out there in a second week, I think, in I guess it would be second week in February, to meet with and to be trained on the new machines, to build my own machines, to be trained on the old machines, and then to sort of ink the deal of being able to offer the polishers, through Obsessed Garage. So I'm going to be working on that here. I've been working on that and figuring out, what do I need to order, what makes sense, what products are we going to put in the store, how is it going to look. I've also been searching. I think I need a new theme for the Obsessed Garage store, because the descriptions aren't robust enough. I want to be able to tell the story a little bit better. Again, each product has, I have video and pictures, and just the way it's set up is kind of clunky on the current theme. And pretty much every Shopify store is built on laziness, or at least all the themes are built to cater to companies that don't care to offer lots of descriptions, or it's designed where they don't have a lot of products, which I'm going to have hundreds and hundreds of different products and probably 1,000 different SKUs that I have to put all the information in the system on. Becomes a lot of work. So anyway, I really, really, really enjoy it. Like it's hard to explain how much fun it is to me, and I know a lot of you think I'm nuts, but yesterday, I literally went into home theater probably watched 4 different movies, you know, in the background while, so that was, you know, yesterday was Sunday, while I pored over the Prevost catalog. The day before that was the Rupes catalog, you know, figuring out what things cost, you know, what quantities, you know, figuring out all the you know, the model numbers and stuff, just getting it all straight in my head. This is what I've been doing my whole life, you know, back to even in, you know, in high school, you know, learning about, you know, different skateboards and, you know, learning the CCS catalog, and I have been doing this forever, and it's I guess it's my curse, but also, you know, partly my gift, in that I can dig through all of this detail and then come up with a solution. You know, the Prevost catalog is massive. Another thing I've been spending a lot of time on is the comparison between, you know, and this is all virtual, so the next step is to do this physically. My next podcast episode I'm going to talk about, it'll probably take me an hour and a half to talk through my research process. A guy sent me an email who watches the stuff, said, hey, I'd love to know what your research process is. And I said, you know, that's probably a decent podcast episode, so I'm going to be, you know, spending some time talking about that. But anyway, the comparison, you know, virtually between Cox hose reels and Prevost hose reels, and then, you know, the pros and cons of all of them. You know, from what I can tell, the pro of the Prevost would be the termination and the ability to have the S1 coupler, and how it's, you know, how it comes pre-connected versus the you know, Cox hose reel. I think Cox probably has a superior spring mechanism, and so I'm going to get them both. I'm going to buy them both and try them both and compare them, you know, on camera. And so all of that's going to be done at Obsessed Garage headquarters, which is going to be freaking awesome. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be so great. Let's move the camera over to the other side. Sorry, you know, the sun is really jacking us up here, but I'm just talking you through this anyway. So anyway, you know, things like that are such game changers is, wait till you see the swiveling coupler for Prevost. You know, wait till you see their piping system. You know, even companies like Kaiser and other high-end companies, they're just their piping system is just nowhere near as good. And so I have a vision for how I'm going to be able to create, you know, garage-specific product packages. You know, things that are logistically difficult are, you know, issues like shipping, you know, the piping comes in 19.7 feet, you know, and so getting that out to you is complicated. So, you know, things like, you know, figuring out how to do that, you know, what size should I cut the pipe down to so that we can, you know, fit it and get it to you. You know, so that it's not $380 to ship a, you know, a $20 piece of pipe. But the stuff really isn't all that expensive, you know, in comparison to what, you know, some of the stuff we're dealing with. You know, so if you're talking about a lifetime product, you know, spend $1,500 or not even. I think it's going to be much less than that. I think it's going to be less than $1,000 to outfit your garage with a sophisticated piping system with all the proper swivels, couplers, hoses, all the stuff you'd need to really make it an amazing experience with compressed air. You know, I know compressed air is kind of a dying thing, in that, you know, electric stuff is taking over for pneumatic. But I'm telling you, when you guys start seeing all the use of the triple action Rupes machine and things like that, you're gonna want it on your own. And, you know, the difficulty is, in order to do that and do that efficiently, and to do it so that it really works well, you know, you can't just go buy a little California Air Tools or a little 6 CFM or 8 CFM producing compressor. It's not enough flow. It's not enough volume in order to run that and then run it efficiently. And so, you know, obviously I'm going to have my Monster Jenny compressor at my garage, but then I'm going to go through and I'm going to vet a lot of the other new stuff, you know, a lot of the simpler stuff for people who maybe aren't going to go to that extreme, the extreme that I'm willing to go to, but still want an amazing air compressor and want the ability to be able to use pneumatics and some of the other tools that I'm going to be talking about. The main reason why I want to do this is so that I can go to companies like Mosmatic, like I'm doing with them, to create an even better gun than what I'm using now, to create a better solution. I want to be able to do that with everything, with lighting, again, compressed air. Right now I'm sort of building it on the back of everybody else, of all these other great companies that make these great products. Because, you know, I don't have any, right now I don't have enough buying power, and I certainly don't have the manufacturing capabilities that I would need to do it. But I think I might be headed there. You know, and certainly, so, you know, you guys that are watching this, I mean, this is a video that not everybody watches, you know, me sitting here telling you the story, but I'm very well aware that, you know, there's lots of young, smart, and, you know, other guys, you know, even older established guys that kind of get energy from just talking through this stuff, you know, thinking through, you know, life and sharing, and, you know, part of it means that I'm gonna have to deal with the, you know, the backlash that, you know, comes from me sharing too much. But, you know, this is just my style. I mean, me making this video helps me way more than it helps you. So there's a really selfish aspect of me doing this, and that, you know, I love washing my car. I was just thinking, man, I really just want to come out, listen to some music, and wash this. But then getting the camera out and talking through this, you know, nobody wants to go to their therapy session, but once I do it, I'm much better for it. You know, there's quite a bit of confusion in people's minds of, you know, I've, you know, leased this garage space, which is the second garage space I've leased. And now I've spent money on drywalling it. I don't own the building. So people get confused. They're like, you know, what are you doing? You know, why are you wasting all this money? You're drywalling and painting. Right now it's being painted literally as we speak. You know, the painters are there, and I was gonna do it myself, but they'll do it much better, much quicker. They'll have it done in 2.5 days, where it would take me a week, and then I wouldn't be able to make this video. So, you know, again, I've had this discussion about not doing stuff on my own. You know, now I could go paint it, and I'm actually a really decent painter. You know, I know how to do it. I've been painting pretty much since I was in my early teens. You know, slopping varnish or slopping Thompson's water seal on decks for people. But I've become a pretty efficient and pretty proficient painter. But I just can't do that. I have to be doing this if I want this to, you know, become what I think it can be. But anyway, the Obsessed Garage headquarters, you know, I'd leased the original space, which was down by my office. It just wasn't quite right, but, you know, I put the Swiss tracks in there and started to outfit that, and then I moved much quicker on getting my parents here to Florida than I thought would happen. So to go from, you know, selling a few T-shirts, you know, a year and a quarter ago, a year and a couple of months ago, to now doing the volumes that we're doing of these amazing products, and, you know, people that just identify with it. I hope that the benefit is there, you know, that I see. All right, so let's foam this thing. I think the camera got turned around there when I was telling the story of Obsessed Garage headquarters. So anyway, there seems to be a lot of confusion, and, you know, I get it. You know, people saying, well, what the heck are you doing with this, you know, this facility that you're renting? Didn't you just rent one? You just put floor down in this, you know, in this facility? You know, what the heck is going on? Are you stupid or something? You know, which, you know, I may be, but I've been looking for something particular. I found this place, or this guy owns the building, and you know, he's a car guy. It just worked out. It just made sense. You know, and I'm going to build a garage here at the house. You know, that's the end goal, the game plan. But the beauty of having this facility is that it affords me the ability to test things. It becomes a proving ground. And so despite the fact that I don't own it, I'm taking ownership of it, if that makes sense. You know, I want this to be, you know, the place where I get to test things, try things. It's right down the street from my house. I'll be able to store, you know, cars there. I'm going to be able to pack and ship there. And it'll teach me what I, you know, need to know for the future of this, whatever this thing is. And so I'm putting, you know, my twin bush lift is inbound. I'm going to be doing some form of cabinets, if not more than one type of cabinet in there. It's going to afford me the ability to, you know, test things, try things, vet things, create new product lines. And I can only hope that I'm fortunate enough that I outgrow it really quickly. Lighting's going in. Right now it's being painted. Lighting's going in here shortly. So lighting will be going in here. I'm going to be doing the lighting myself, mainly because I want to vet the process. I want to test the lighting. I want to see how it goes in. So I'm going to fumble through it myself. And then we're going to do the Prevost piping, Swiss Trax flooring. So I'm going to pull the flooring up from the other place. I think my lease ends in April there. So I have that for a few more months. And then I won't renew it. So I won't keep both facilities, just the one. Anyway, I gotta go over to the other side. What am I doing? But man, I'm telling you, I have a certain style of what the garage should look like. You know, I'm obviously imparting that style on other people, and you know, that style doesn't work for everyone. But you know, the garage is going to look a certain way and have, you know, certain products in there and certain levels of product. And then, like some of the stuff I've never had before. I've never had a real deal air compressor before. You know, I've never had a lift before. And so, buying and testing and using this stuff is where I think the magic happens. And being a rather particular individual, and then being lucky enough to have found this audience of you people that are watching this, where we can all sort of gather together and come up with solutions for things, is awesome. So the trick, my goal for 2018, which is coming quickly. You know, my parents will be here in Florida. We'll be building the Obsessed Garage headquarters, you know, which just basically means my garage with cool stuff in it and the ability to pack and ship there. I'm probably going to start doing some, you know, taking these great products on the road a bit. So, meaning I'll be taking them to events. Not a lot of events, but a few targeted events to sort of share the story of these great products, and then the brand in general, connect with people here locally to some extent. And then I'm hiring probably in the next few weeks, hiring someone in wealth management. I'll talk about that more when it's done. When he's here, which will make it be a huge help for me. Shoot, just Friday alone. You know, so for those of you who don't think that I actually work or don't count, you know, washing cars as work. So Friday I had this was a more wealth management heavy day. But let's see, I did a 9 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, an 11 o'clock, Then I had a 1 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, a 3:30, and a 4:30. All people that watch this stuff, that have discovered me somewhere, had a conversation, you know, with all various different stages of the financial planning process with these people. You know, and so I think last year, I don't know how many millions came in. You know, I haven't hosted any events or sent out any mailers or marketed it all to wealth management. You know, I mentioned earlier, I took a bit of a step back in that, you know, when I left Merrill Lynch, because I knew that, or I guessed that, you know, I'm onto something here with this, you know, connectivity in here with Obsessed Garage. And so, you know, I'm able to connect with people in a very different way in wealth management. You know, so it's the, you know, it's the ultimate. I mean, you're sharing your financial life with me, and so doing so, you know, means that I'm able to, you know, impart some knowledge and then, you know, connect with you and your family, and it's just a different level of service, I guess you could say. You know, and some people make comments like, oh, you're buying new cars all the time. What kind of financial advisor are you? You know, it just depends on what kind of financial advisor you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for someone to tell you to never spend any money and never live life, you know, I'm not your guy. But if you're looking for someone to just help you maximize where you're at and then help make sure you make a few correct, you know, maybe a little bit more correct decisions in the future, I'm probably your guy. You know, if you identify with, you know, what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. You know, I don't personally have any aspirations to retire in 5 years or 10 years. So, you know, I'm going to buy a truck if I want a truck. You know, and is that the most intelligent thing to do? You know, probably not. But, you know, as long as it doesn't completely destroy your ability to ever maybe, you know, live financially astute, then do it. And we can calculate, we can quantify it. And so what I spend, and this has been a big discovery process for me, is what is my place? You know, what am I doing? You know, what the heck is Obsessed Garage? You know, what is the point of all this? You know, the most common question I get is, when are you going to quit wealth management? I don't think I ever will. I just do both. They connect. So I don't think there's really a need to give one or the other up. It's just to keep doing me, and the people that are supposed to relate and connect with what I'm talking about will. And that's, by the way, this is not me having these magical epiphanies. This is coaching, lots and lots of coaching and thought. It goes into where I'm at in life right at this moment. But man, isn't it? I could never have imagined this. I'm telling you, people, I used to beg and plead and steal to get somebody to sit in front of me and listen about, you know, how to buy things, how to buy stocks or bonds or mutual funds or whatever investment you're talking about. Now, it's like I spend zero time on that. You know, the aspect of marketing. People just show up. You know, when you need help, you reach out. I just need to figure out how to make sure people know that I'm available to that, available for that. It's kind of like, you know, driving cars. You know, people watch me make these videos and they're kicking and screaming about me not, you know, saying I never drive the car. Well, I just don't share driving cars. It's not what this, it's not, I don't know, I just don't have an interest in it. Maybe I'd be good at it, maybe I wouldn't, I'm not sure. But I'm interested in doing this kind of stuff. This is fun to me. You know, and I like sharing this process of product discovery and washing cars and things like that. I just like it. Now is probably a good time in this process to call me if you want. You know, you want me to help you vet your investments, help you vet your process. You know, I spent so much time worrying about, you know, how am I going to create this fantastic process for people when I've had it all along. You know, my gift is obsession, right? It's also my curse. And so think about picking a mutual fund if that's something that fits. You know, and I'm not product biased. I really don't care. I don't care. You know, I just want it to generate decent returns, right? And so it's much like, you know, it really doesn't matter how much money you have, how rich or poor you are. You know, somebody still has to decide what mutual fund or what ETF or what stock or what hedge fund or whatever it is you're going to buy. You have to decide, right? Somebody has to make that decision. And usually those decisions are based on some goofy emotion or some guess or some hope or dream. You know, I'm always hoping that we can triple our money overnight. But that becomes very unpredictable and very difficult to do. But ultimately, we still have to decide, you know, what are we going to do with our life? You know, when are we going to retire? When are we going to, you know, have a certain amount of money? And, you know, that can be calculated relatively accurately with basic mathematics and an understanding of, you know, what's possible. Now, that process is really boring. It's a lot like picking, you know, I'm using Adam's car shampoo. There are hundreds of different car shampoos, if not a few thousand. Somebody eventually has to pick a car shampoo. Is this the best car shampoo in the world? I don't know, but it's pretty darn good. Same thing with investments. You have to put together some sort of process. Now, you know, I'm oversimplifying this discussion here just for shock value, if you will, but take something as simple as car shampoo and how much of a pain that can be to figure out what to buy. Multiply that by a multiple of a few dozen, and you'll have an idea of what it takes to make that decision on, you know, what stock or bond or mutual fund. I mean, there are 12,000 open-ended mutual funds in the world. I mean, which one do you pick? First of all, am I supposed to pick an open-ended mutual fund? You know, they're expensive, they're tax inefficient, they're really out of favor as far as, you know, pop culture is concerned. Does it even make sense? Do I listen to pop culture or do I listen to some sort of reason? Do I just assume things or do I actually test things? And so what most people that have hired me to help pick, you know, what shampoo they're going to use on their car, same thing goes with investments. Only multiply my obsession with washing cars by, again, probably 1,000, and you'll get a glimpse into how much time and effort has been spent figuring that crap out. Now, again, I don't know if I have it right or wrong, but you know, like I wash this truck and it doesn't come out all scratched and jacked up, so I must be doing it right. Same thing with vetting investments. I mean, I don't know, I'm certain I'm not getting the best returns in the world for people, but people are getting the job done. They're reaching whatever goals they set. And that's because I've spent, you know, a lot of time, energy, effort in educating myself to be able to hopefully make a decent decision. You know, it's funny. I see a lot of young people who haven't, or even old people who have lost more money than they've ever made. They just wouldn't admit it. Talking about, you know, like blockchain and Bitcoin and things like that, and how, you know, the argument is you just have to do your research. Well, I've been researching since, you know, for more hours than you could possibly imagine. I still don't know how to buy a stock. I still don't know how to do it. And I promise you, the 35 minutes of YouTube videos you've watched on Bitcoin is not enough. You can know everything there is to know and still get it wrong. That doesn't, that doesn't help you. In fact, a lot of times it hurts you. And so, anyway, I don't want to get on that tangent, but when everybody gives me a hard time about, you're just an old school stockbroker, old school Wall Street guy, you just don't understand. You just haven't done any research. You can research, you can know everything there is to know about GE. Pick any brilliant money manager over the years and you still get it wrong. You could know the management team, you could know every possible data point on their balance sheet, what they're predicting, what everybody's predicting, what all the pundits say, what the economy is projected to do. Spend all of your time and effort and energy, and it may not matter. It still might not go up. So don't give me that crap about just do your research. It doesn't work that way. If it were that easy, just read about it, then everybody would be rich. Just read a book and know how to do it. That's not really the way it works. Anyway, you 22-year-olds are scoffing at that right now. It's okay, you'll figure it out. I'm still waiting to meet the speculative millionaire, the one that took a huge guess or huge bet. I think I've seen a couple of thousand portfolios to date. And I haven't met anyone that showed up and said, that was really well off, extremely wealthy, even moderately wealthy by making a big bet. Every single person I meet that is wealthy has either excelled in their career and over time. Your company was purchased, now there's risk and give and take of risk and reward there that's required in order to hopefully generate a quality return on your investment over time. But most of the time, in fact, I would wager to say the lion's share of the time, the really successful people lucked into it. And they lucked into it by having sound principles for saving and investing. And then somehow it turned into a lot of money. Whether they got a windfall from selling their business that they spent their entire life taking risks and building, or they just kept putting money aside over and over and over again, and their 401k magically turned into $4 million because they just kept doing it, and they got lucky and picked their company stock doubled and split a few times. That's generally what happens. I'm not saying you can't make money on speculation, but chances are you won't. So let's rinse this thing off. All right, so let's see how this ego thing goes. This is the $180 one from Home Depot. I haven't bought the little thinger, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see if this thing can wash the truck or dry the truck. I'm generally not a fan of highly marketed but poorly executed products that people seem to get sucked into so easily. Think about Sunjoe, big ass lights, big ass fans. Think about what other products? Nothing's really coming to mind. But the stuff that people kind of, that they sell online and they sell the big box stores. I usually they just don't do it for me. If something's going to be, $150 and try to do something, professional grade, it's just not going to happen. So we'll see if this is a rarity in this world of very well marketed, but not professional grade products, you know, for the average Joe. It's weird how these average Joe products kind of get mixed in with the obsessed crowd. And I think it's a lot of these, you know, younger guys kind of looking for something to get the job done and do it in high quality fashion. And you can't be going and buying every $500 or $1,000 product that comes out. I get that. It just doesn't. You can't do it. Yeah, but it's been my experience in life that nothing's that easy. You can't have professional grade for less expensive. I mean, stuff that's engineered to a price point has a really hard time competing with something that's purpose-built. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I generally don't deal as well with these kind of products. But this thing seems pretty legit. As you can see, I'm holding down the regular trigger in the turbo mode. We'll see how long, if the battery can make it through the whole truck. It's doing so pretty well thus far. I think I probably still want to put some earplugs on with this. Probably be smart. You know, and the logical question a lot of people always have is, why don't I use the Master Blaster? I don't want to get that freaking hose out and drag it around. It's the main reason why. I bought one, I had one. We didn't make it. We didn't finish the truck. Close, but not all the way. So the Ego didn't quite make it. We'll continue our discussion. This is a long one, but I'm gonna go grab some lunch. I'm gonna come out, I gotta dry off the truck. I wanna hit the B pillars with some Kamikaze ISM, and I probably wanna hit the windshield with some Opti Glass Coat, because Michelle will tend to hit the wipers without wetting them first. She'll tend to do that often. But I have deionized water, so the little bit of water that's sitting on here won't be a big deal. So we'll come back out in about a half an hour and keep working through this process. You know, I've got all these fancy drying aids. The two that I like the most are still Optimum car wax, if you have wax on the car, and then this is CarPro's ECH2O, which I like. So this car is coated with Seacort's TiO2, and so we'll just do a little drying. Now I deionized the truck and rinsed it and then blew it off, or rinsed it with deionized water and then blew it off. Testing the new Ego. I guess not new, but new to me anyway. But I like to do a full drying. I feel like it helps keeps the surface more contaminant free for a longer period of time. I can come back around and get all the leftover bugs and things, because I don't want to grind into the paint, the dirt and stuff as I'm rinsing it. And so I find coming back over with some of this really tends to work well. These are my blue drying towels. So anyway, just what else do I have to talk about? We got on the wealth management tangent, which I don't do a lot of, but it's such a significant part of my life. It's hard not to, but it's been magical. I mean, the amount of people that I've had reach out just in the last 6 months. I don't know how many millions people have transferred to me, but it's been a lot. It's just freaking cool. You know, and the concepts, you know, all this time and energy I've spent, and this has been the big struggle for me, is that it's not hard for me to analyze someone's situation and help drive them in the right direction. Now, the reason why it's not hard is because I've been doing it for so long and have spent so much time and energy becoming an expert in it. You know, and the magic of it is being able to then take that body of knowledge, apply it to, you know, someone's life, and helping them improve. You know, and a lot of people, especially Obsessed Garage people, you guys that are watching this stuff, a lot of you guys pretty much have it figured out. There's just a few little tweaks. If we make a few little changes, it can really significantly change the outcome. All right, so you make a few minor adjustments to your strategy. One, in, you know, how you're investing the money, and then secondly, you know, and how you're saving the money, and to where you're saving the money, can make a huge difference. So I think one of the significant differences this year for me, one of the things I'm going to attempt to do is to be, you know, give up some of my other hang-ups, you know, where people tend to beat me up and then I fight back, you know, and you know, it's sometimes you know, you have to kind of have to set people straight. But I'm gonna, if this thing is to get as big as I think it could, I think I need to make sure I'm taking care of everybody. Right now, the trick is, you know, I don't want to lie. I don't want to sugarcoat. I want to do the brand that is me, right? But I really, it's just fighting back. Just is so much energy, wasted energy. I don't want to do that. And so the disadvantage to that is that I think I have to respond a little less at times than I have in the past. Right? So responding to, you know, stupid comments, which means I'll just keep my mouth shut more than I probably have. And I know some of you are going to be disappointed to hear that because you think it's funny. But I'm still gonna, you know, I think it's very important to be able to, you know, like talking about that ego, and then, you know, correlating that to things like a, you know, like a Sunjo pressure washer and things like that, like being able to have an honest conversation. Because it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what I post, it doesn't matter, you know, there's always going to be opposition. And then it's just a question of how I handle that opposition, you know, being authentic, but as appropriate as possible. I don't like doing the door jams and things like that, but I really like this part. You don't need a lot of this drying aid. It smells good too. I forget the dilution ratio. It's whatever it says on the bottle. You're going to see maybe a little bit more appropriate version of me throughout this year. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. This truck is so nice. I love this thing. I always forget how much I love coming out here and just doing this. Just washing, drying, touching up little spots like I'm going to do here in a minute with the glass. To me, this is what life's all about. I know that seems simplistic, but I just love this whole process. kids come out here and run around, and they go in, and they come back out here, and they run around, and they go back in, grab some lunch, come back out. It's just awesome. The weather today is great too. It's up to about 60 now. Should like to put a little bit of this on here. I don't know, these bottles aren't great. They're good, but they're not great. There's no such thing as a great bottle in current form right now in existence. I think the polishing package should be out, this month. So I have to make a whole video series on that. Hopefully I'll have my lift set up, or maybe I can get a car on the lift, do some demos on some things. We'll see. I don't know. I got a lot of work to do. Obsessed Garage headquarters is going to occupy a lot of time and a lot of video over the next few months. And then I'll release I'm going to call it the General Car Care General Finishing Package, which will be Colonite and Powerlock Plus. And then we'll add in a coating package, which will most likely be Kamikaze. I want to use it a little longer. Although, the C-quartz just grows on, it just grows on me. The application is a little more complicated. But the look of it, especially on white, is it's grown on me quite a bit. Now, on the black car, it looks kind of synthetic. Looks a little bit too odd to me. But on this white, it tends to do pretty well. Holds up well, lasts a long time. We have a great drying aid in this OGHQ. So it is viable. And of course we have the Geon stuff, which is also an option, future option. I don't know, every time I get Geon, the CarPro stuff, I don't know, I just like it better. Jeff, the guys from Geon, the guys that use Geon that are, helping represent the product are all great people. I don't know. There's something about the C-quartz, Reload, I think is a better product. This OGHQ is sort of a game-changing type, simple product for a coated car, a coated vehicle. The Polish Angel stuff is cool, but I keep coming back to this. It's just simpler. It's cheaper. Comes concentrated. I just think it works better. But I haven't used the Polish Angel stuff enough yet to make a real assessment of it. I've got the finishing packages to come out with. That'll come out pretty quickly, I think, after polishing. So we've got that. Then we've got glass. So exterior finishing of glass. Right, glass and trim. And then we have interior glass and interior cleaning, carpet cleaner, Alcantara cleaner, stuff like that. I'm going to be coming out with some sort of garden hose solution as well, for those who still use a garden hose. I'm going to be working with Cox reels to work on, even improving upon, what Ely has. I don't like the Ely polypropylene hoses as much. I'm actually going to be transitioning away from them on the Krenzler machine. The fit and finish of the Ely is great, but the execution isn't as good as this other hose I'm going to be launching here soon, the SwiftTech option, which is really cool. And then I have that's the same garden hose that I'm using that I have on my old Ely hose reel. Ely's also pulled out of the market, so they're only selling direct, so I'm not able to sell the product anymore. It's nothing against me, it's just they just decided to pull all distribution away. All right, so let's do, I'm gonna do the windows so that I can get a coat on the window, and then I wanna do this. I'm gonna add some ISM here. It's really streaky right now, and so I'm gonna wipe this down with some eraser. Put some ISM on here. Hopefully it'll richen it up and get rid of the streaky spots. And then I want to get some glass coating on the windshield. The side windows are fine. So let's work on that. All right, so let's hit the glass here real quickly. I'm telling you guys, stick to the basics here. Griot's window cleaner and my Rag Company waffle weave towel. I know we all want this to be better. I think we want something fancy, but this stuff just works, man. This combo is perfection. It's kind of hard to fix perfection. Although this glass cleaner is basically alcohol and distilled water, I'm going to wipe this down with some IPA here. Make sure I get a really good bond. You could use eraser too. I don't know. On the windows, I like to use straight up IPA. First, we're getting a good surface cleaning. Catch any bugs or anything that we may have missed. I'm gonna get real techie on you here. Get a good old-fashioned paper towel. Dump some IPA on it. Just wipe it down. Nice and clean. I gotta get one of those planks. You know, those little plank step ladder things. I'm gonna go get one. I'm gonna get one this week. I have to buy all my MC and ENT connectors for the lighting. It should be coming today from Prime Lights. You know, my new lighting system. I'm going to be putting in the OGHQ. So I'm going to be hanging all that. All right, so now we're ready. We got some Optimum Glass Coating. Just take this, spray it on a little piece of foam block. And just do this. You can put this on with whatever you want. I just grabbed this because I had it. Actually, this probably isn't going to do so well. There's a squirrel up there in the attic running around. Yeah, this isn't going to work. That's better. So I've transitioned away from woofs to this. I find this to be a little bit better, lasts a little bit longer, but similar results. You know, with me and a lot of this stuff, it comes down to basic function. You know, I don't need it to be life-changing. I just want it to be extremely functional, have some decent longevity. But, you know, there's a trade-off when you get things like super hydrophobic capabilities and things like that. Then a lot of times it'll change the view, you know, and how it looks. I just want to go back over this once because I'm not going to put two coats. I'm just going to put one. Just want to make sure I don't miss any spots. Some of it have been an oddball in that I'm just looking for, you know, a great product that gives us a great result, but it doesn't have to be over the top. If that makes sense. This crystalline 70% on the windshield is making this look a little, it's hard to see this going on. What spots I've hit and what spots I haven't. All right, so we'll let that sit there for a little while. And I'll come back and wipe it off with some Griot's glass cleaner and the towel. All right, so we don't want to let that sit there forever. A couple of minutes, and it's time to remove. If you let it on here too long, it won't come off. Let's do just a little bit of this, just to aid as a lubrication. And this is not silicon dioxide based, so I don't have to throw my towel away after this. I can still use it. Just want to make sure I get it all removed so I don't end up having to polish it off later. There you have it. Quick little 20-minute window touch-up, and this will last for 6 or 8 months. I really like this stuff. Optimum Glass Clean and Protect. You don't want to use this on the interior of the windows because it'll fog. It has a little bit of Opti Glass Coat in it just to aid as almost like a little booster to the coating. I don't feel the need to do these windows because they're still holding up. But I'm going to be sure to have this in the package, the glass cleaning package. So I'm going to go around and clean the other windows, and I'll come back and hit this with some ISM and see how that does. Amazing how a life date update morphs into a detailing video. So anyway, you can see the streaks on there. So I'm going to wipe this off with some IPA and hope to do a little damage to what this looks like, because it looks terrible. I don't know why, I put the same, I have the same stuff, this is all Geon trim. So I have the trim on both this whole section and that, but I don't know why it made the streak. Maybe it was some sort of reaction with a product that was on there before. I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is just kind of polish this thing, but I'm going to try throwing some ISM since I had such good success with the ISM on the trim on the other Raptor. Let's see how this turns out. And the ISM you don't want to leave on for very long. You want to get this off. So I'm going to leave it on for another minute or so. And I'm going to wipe it. We'll see how it holds up from a even perspective. I'm such a huge fan of this black plastic rather than the normal shadow line trim that you get. It's masking some of it, but not all of it. It looks a lot better. I almost think I need to polish these, but that does look a lot better. I'm gonna go do the other side too. So anyway, I've run out of stuff to talk about. Hope there's a little bit of shade of a sense that you get from listening to me talk about this, that I'm living the gosh darn dream, man. It's just awesome. So thanks to all of you who have allowed me to do it by supporting and buying some stuff from me, and by proxy, or supporting my parents who are going to have a great gig. And then it's going to allow me to hire other really smart people and smart, talented young people to come, and young and old, to come and help support this. But I'm going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like taking the product line to Amazon, at least targeted some of it, offering up there, and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyway, thanks for listening to my life update and Obsessed Garage update. I'm going to do the door jams, hit the tires with some Pearl, and call it an afternoon. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more crazy. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.